So we go on with the questions. How do we know if the work that we do is not correct for us? Is correct or not correct? Who is asking this?
I don't know.
You don't. I think that whatever we do is what we are meant to do. Finding something which is appropriate for us 100% in this world is not always easy. But we must go by percentage. If it goes above 50, it's really good. It's rare that somebody does a job which is really 100% what he would like to do in life. But there are many factors that push us in a certain direction and take us to do certain kind of work. Of course, the more it befits ourselves, our nature, the more happy we'll be doing it. And it's important and it's a good luck if we get to do a job which is really what we like doing, what is really according to our nature. But for most of the people, the work is just meant to make one's living, earn one's money, so that we can live a dignified life in this world. Most of the people do frustrating works that they don't really like. It doesn't even reach that 50%. It's much below that for many people. So if you're lucky enough that the work we do, we like it above 50%, 70, 80, it's good luck already. And I would say there are consequences for doing a job which does not befit us. Consequences at a physical level and a neuropsychological level. And most of these people who do a job which doesn't fit them really, and it's just for making money, eventually they develop cancer. That's a way of developing cancer. Because it's like rubbing ourselves all the time. And you can't rub yourself for your whole life, eventually you crumble down. So if the work we do it's enough pleasing for us, we like doing it, even if not always, but most of the time, then that's good luck enough, I would say. There are many factors in life which somehow fight against our nature. But we have to take them. We have to go along with them. Because it's our karma really, it's part of our life. It might be work, it might be relations, several relations we have, partner, children, friends, colleagues at work. This is also kind of tiring for ourselves sometimes. It wears us out. Because most of the time it's difficult. So it's not just the job, but also relations are a very important part of our life, which either help us or go against us. But we can't run away from our responsibilities. Once we step into work, we step into a relation, then we have to face that. It's part of our karma. We can't run away. Even if we go through periods which are not very bright and very pleasing, very pleasant, yet we can't just run away from it. We have to try to make it beautiful. And that's the challenge of life. Trying to make beautiful what is not beautiful many times. Because it's very easy to make ugly what is beautiful, but it's very difficult to make beautiful what's ugly. And the same thing applies to ourselves also. There are so many parts of ourselves which we don't like, and we have to take it because it's weak. We would like to be different, but we don't succeed. We are not able. So that's also a fight with ourselves. And we can just deny ourselves. We can just run away from ourselves. We have to face ourselves. And very often the relations we have in life, what's our family and friends, and the work we do, is very much meant or given to us by God to transform ourselves. It's not by chance that we have certain relations, that we have a certain job. It's really part of our DNA, I would say. It's really part of our deep self. And it's meant, it's given to us by life or by God to change us in those sides which are not good, which need to be transformed. So anything that happens in our life is not by chance. It's meant for something. It's meant to work, to help us work on ourselves. And especially those things which we don't like. They are meant for changing our nature and become what we are capable of becoming in this lifetime. So it's not good to run away either from, well, if we find something better, okay, but if we don't, then we make peace with it and try to make it nice. In my case, somehow I've been lucky enough, especially people who work for other people, or the employees of other people. That's usually very difficult, my God. For many people, it's rare that somebody works for somebody else, employee of somebody, and everything is smooth and nice. Usually there are fights, jealousies, and the boss that bosses over. It makes it very difficult. So many people are really frustrated with these situations. And yet, they are part of their life. In my case, I was very lucky to work always as an independent person, I would say. I was able to make my living working independently. And this has been very good for me. It has made my life and my way of making my living very pleasant and very easy. And also the job I've been doing in these last 20 years, being an Ayurvedic therapist, has been really very good for me, because it really befits my nature. And this also, I must say, was given to me to help me overcome certain limits which I had within myself. It was really a great work for my evolution. Because in the beginning of my spiritual life, I was very distant from everybody. I didn't like to mix with people. I didn't like touching people or being touched by people. And then life pushed me into doing a work in which I had to touch people. And yet be centered and be myself. So this was very good for me. Moreover, the therapy which I have done in these 20 years is very spiritual, really. So every treatment I do is really a satsang. So it has been such a great spiritual help for me. Beside my spiritual practice, the therapies I've been doing, they were always, really, each and every one of them a satsang. Because the way I do it, it really becomes a satsang in the sense that the Master Grace really manifests incredibly much. And I learned so many things also about the human nature, about myself, and about others, about how we human beings are and how we work, really. Our system works, our psyche works. In the beginning, when I began doing this work, I would have some 20 people every week, 25. So it was like 25 satsangs, I tell you. And they felt it. So it was a way of blessing people spiritually without even them knowing it. And there are people who have been coming to me for 20 years every week. And even now they keep coming. Because they feel so blessed with it. They don't know what it is. But I know what it is. It's really Sadhguru's blessing that goes through me to the people. So beside the meditation I've been doing in my life, I've been doing also all these therapies, which were another spiritual practice, really. It was really this, another spiritual practice. And I've learned really how to shake the energy and the spirit of the people through the therapy. Many people are not ready for spiritual practice, for meditation. They can't take it. But they can take a therapy. So it's a way of blessing people, without even them doing anything. And I've gotten so much love from my clients, really. More than my satsangis, I would say. Yes. They're giving me a lot of money because they pay for the therapies. It's not for free. But they are still so grateful. My satsangis are not as grateful, usually. Because so many people who have benefited from me spiritually, eventually they turn against me for one reason or another. But there is no one of my clients. If you meet all those who have been coming to me in these 20 years, I tell you, you won't find one that will say a wrong word about me. So it has been very, very beautiful, really. And I feel very lucky to have had this chance of doing this work. So this is a case in which I really like my work 100%, I would say. And I feel very blessed for this. Very lucky. But it doesn't work like this for everybody. So I have a deep conviction that we attract into our life things which correspond to us, each one of us. Nothing is a mistake. Just according to the way we are, we attract similar things, which sometimes are not nice, but they're meant for our growth. So we should see it like this, even if there are sides of it which are not what we really like. For the time being, when we are doing something, that's what we are meant to do. So we should try to do it the best we can. That's the thing. My therapies have been very effective because I really done them with all of my being. And really working very hard. Sometimes 2.5 hours continue in a day. With no interruption, I tell you. But this way I also experience how we have such a potential inside of us, which can be broadened incredibly. Sometimes I would get to a point in which I would say, oh my God, no, will I be able to continue? But then something like a new engine would start inside of me, and I found myself full of energy. And at the end of 12 hours of work, I would say, oh, I could continue for the whole night. Because I liked what I was doing. Because I did it all of my being. And in all of my therapies, I always sing bhajans. At some point during the therapy, I always sing 2-3 songs. So that's how it becomes a satsang. And at the end, it's really very powerful. And people feel it. They don't know what it is, but they feel very good. Also, teaching Ayurveda has been it's been a very good way of coming to know many people and coming to know how we people are really. I've been teaching it to a few hundred people. I have written a book on Ayurveda, which for those who have read it, it's very appreciated. Because at some point I was offered to teach in a school. And I thought, okay, if I'm able to write a book myself about what I've learned, then I will teach it. Otherwise, no. So I busy myself in a month or so, I wrote this book. And then, okay, I began teaching this therapy. So then I went on with other situations. And it has always been a way of initiating people into the spiritual path without them even knowing it. And these were quite a few hundred people, I tell you. And during the course, they would get such a high level of consciousness, really. It seemed that their life was changed. They had understood what's all about life. But then the course finished, and I met some of them after some time. They had forgotten everything. That showed how the association they had with me, it really uplifted their consciousness. But as soon as the connection was broken, they fell down where they used to be. So going back to the question, I would say that when we are doing something, we should try to do it at our best, whether we like it fully or partially, and try to get the best we can from it. And if it's not 100% what we are meant to do, then life at some point will create other situations that will show us what we have to do next. But as far as we do something, we should do it at our best.
Thank you.
In a difficult life situation, which is persisting, how do we know if we have to keep doing on, or it is a useless fight and we have to get out of it and leave? Who's asking this? Well, normally I can say that we too easily leave situations and run away from them. So it's not good to get into this habit of too easily leaving difficult situations and looking for something else. Because many of the problems we have in relations, yes, partly might be from the other person, but it's very much with ourselves. So changing situation, it doesn't really help, because maybe in the beginning it seems to be different or better, but then after some time the dynamics come back, all of them, and we find ourselves again in a similar situation. So keeping running away from situations through our life is not good. I don't say that this 100% should be. There are cases in which at some point the relation ends because of many factors really that come together. But on the path we are taught not to run away from situations, to face them and try to find a way to improve them, to make them better. Because that's the process of learning how to become a real human being. Situations are like a class, like a school. And as I said before, it's very difficult to make a bad situation into a good situation. It's very easy to make, for most of the people, a good situation into a bad situation. So, in my life as a Satsangi, I've been always really sticking to the involvements I've been taking in my life. So, as you see, I was initiated by Master Kirpal, then I followed Sanji for 20 years of my life, and I stick to these relations. I really kept them. It was not always easy. It was not always easy for a situation which came up, for things inside of myself. But I faced all of this and I kept going. And this way I learned so much, really. Also in my family life, I had a wife for 32 years of my life. It was not always easy. There were difficult times, and the end, it was very difficult because of her disease. 10 years of very intense taking care of somebody who was not able to take care of herself. I hear stories of people, at some point, one of the partners gets a cancer and maybe lasts 5-6 months, very intense suffering, or sometimes 1 or 2 years. And they say, this shattered me completely. This may finish my life. Well, I went on for 10 years. And the last 5 years, it was full taking care, completely unable to do anything. 100%. But I didn't run away. My daughter ran away from this responsibility with her mom. She left her completely to my care, but I didn't. And it was very difficult. But I also learned so much. I learned really to die to myself and accept fully the will of God. Because we are very good at saying, your will be done. But when the difficult situation comes up, His will we don't like. And also with my satsangis, I think I keep doing my duty, because I step into this role, into this situation. And although sometimes I get very disappointed, with people. Very. Still I keep doing it. Because I feel it's a duty towards my masters, and it's a duty towards the people with whom I am involved with, or who are involved with me. So we should not easily run away from difficult situations. I would say rarely is worthwhile stopping it. 1/100. Otherwise, we should try to make them better, do our best to improve the situations and not run away from them. But there are some cases in which relation end. This is an obvious fact. And when there is no purpose in continuing a relation, I mean, it can be kept as a farce, something, but when the intention is different, when the direction is in life is different, and when the relation is not so close, then it's okay. With friends, even with children, I would say. When they take a different direction in life, then it's okay. You go your way, I go my way. But these are exceptions, I would say. It's not the rule. The rule is that we face situations and we try to improve them. Okay, we'll continue tomorrow with the other questions. It's enough.